2025 is flying by, and I'm not trying to rush it, but I'm already pumped for November because it's BGG-Con! Woohoo! I just love board game conventions that are all about playing games. So BGG-Con is one of my favorite happy places. I mean, where else can you go and play a bunch of hot new releases from Gen Con and Essen, and also discover weird old hidden gems in a massive game library? Join us this fall at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Dallas from November 19th to the 23rd. For more details and to grab your badge, head to BoardGameGeek.com/BGGCon. Hope to see you there. Episode 77 of the Board Game Geek podcast, where we geek out about board games, the mechanisms behind them, and the people who create them. I'm your host, Candace Harris, and I am very, very excited to be here today with Starla from Our Family Plays Games, the YouTube channel, the content creators, the amazing family that's playing games and spreading diversity in this hobby.
You're flattering me too much.
How are you doing today, Starla?
Candace, I am doing great. I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. I'm so sorry it took me this long. I was like, wait, this is episode 77? Because it's like, back when the podcast started, I'm like, oh, I have to have Mick and Starla on here at some point. And time just flies on by, and here we are, finally doing it.
Well, you know, they say better late than never, so here we are.
Yes. So how's everything going on your end? What's new with you and the family and your channel?
Oh, let's see. What's new? We just got back from Grand Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Had a wonderful time there. That's our third year going.
Cool.
That was over the Labor Day weekend, so that was awesome. Let's see. We just moved to a new house, so getting adjusted to that. And
congrats.
Thank you. So we're so excited about it. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we're still putting out content every week and just trying to live life.
Yeah. So wait, with the new house, because you guys were on the hobby documentary also, yes. And I saw the storage situation at your old house. Do you have more space for games now?
Well, here's the thing. The games are our roommates. That's what I call them. And we've gotten so many roommates that we had to get a house big enough for them to have their own space. Because they had taken over. In our old house, we had games in the living room, games under the coffee tables, games in the closets, games everywhere. So now we have a basement, and the games have their own space. I thought we had a lot of space when we moved, but now we've got the games out. I don't know.
I love that. Like thinking about it like that the games are just our roommates.
They're roommates.
Yeah. I mean, we play with them and I'll be sure to tell Matt that next time I get a box delivered here.
It's a new roommate.
Yeah. That is funny. So I asked Starla, what kind of games are you into? So today, we're going to talk about worker placement games that we love.
Yes. One of my favorite mechanics. I love it.
Yeah, me too. I feel like worker placement as a mechanism was like one of the first things I discovered in the modern board game world that really excited me. Like, I love deck building also, but like worker placement games were so cool. And they're still so cool. There's still tons of designers out there using worker placement in different ways. And We'll get into that more. We'll get into that more in a minute. But before we start getting into worker placement games I'd love to hear what you've been playing lately, Starla. So let's jump into fresh plays.
Okay, so I just mentioned that we got back from Grand Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yep.
In a couple of games we played there. And I guess, well, they're fresh. We played them before, but these were games we played and had such a good time. We played it a couple of times. And then my first one on my list is Rebel Princess from Zombie Paella. And it's got a whole group of designers on there. I didn't list their names because they were names I did not pronounce well. So I skipped them, but it's a group of designers. And it plays 3 to 6 players. It came out in 2023. And this game is a new take on spades almost. And it's a trick-taking game, although there is no trump card. There's no trump in this one. But you've got these princesses, all of them, Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella and all that. And the crazy thing, the reason why they're rebel princesses, they don't want to get married. They want the princesses to go away. Don't come over here. I don't want proposals. So your whole goal in this game is to not get proposals. So you try to get rid of those princesses.
Yes. Yeah. I love trick avoidance and also just like player powers. Rebel Princess is fantastic. I know there's like a sequel out right now, right? That I think Bezier has like a new version of it coming out or something.
I know,
or it might have come out at Gen Con.
Yeah, Zombie Princess is coming out. I'm not into zombies, but that is coming out. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting twist. Okay. Cool. Rebel Princess has just, anytime I break it out, it has been a hit, especially if people like trick-taking games, it can be wild and silly, but the theming is great and I love it.
And see the twist, those events you have every round. You've got an event.
Right.
And that's what adds the twist to the game.
Yes. And there are so many that, you can pick the ones you like every time, or you can like randomly do it and have like kind of a different experience.
Right. That's what I like. I love it. It's a fun game and I like trick-taking games.
Cool. So that's Rebel Princess.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it. So you were mentioning you just went to a convention that was Labor Day weekend. I also, in LA, we have a convention 3 times a year called Strategicon. And in Labor Day weekend is one of those cons. And it is a great way to, what I like to think of is playing the game of swapping games with other gamers, because we have a virtual flea market that is, I feel like every time this convention rolls around, there are more and more games up there that people are selling or trading, buying. And I'm like, it's really kind of a community cooperative game where it's like, hey, I have these games I'm trying to get rid of. And then people will like bid on them to help me out. And then meanwhile, I buy some of their games as well, even though I really need to cut back. But at Strategicon, whenever this virtual flea market goes up, I don't even know if I want to announce this secret, but I go through all the listings and I'll like anything I don't recognize. I'm like, I don't know anything about it. I'll like click on the game and just read about it. And I've found some like obscure games this way. And so one of the games that I ended up putting a bid on is a game called Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space. And this is a game, like I clicked on it and I was like, oh, that's, read the description. I was like, that sounds intriguing. I put the starting bid amount on it. And I was like, if I get it, I get it. Cool. If not, it's okay. Because I really don't know, it's not like I've been dying to have this game. But this game is designed similar to Rebel Princess. There are lots of designers on this one. So I'll just say there's a design team of like five different designers. And this is a game from 2010
Oh,
from Cranio Creations, but
oh
the
yeah.
version that I have is a newer Osprey version. I mean, I don't think it's still not a new game, but
Mhm.
have you ever heard of this one?
I have not.
Okay, see? I hadn't either. I hadn't either. There's a little story to this how I actually got to play this game. But anyway, it plays with 2 to 8 players. And so when I go to the convention and I'm like, we're in the virtual flea market meetup, this guy Sergio hands me the game because I think I maybe paid him on Venmo in advance. And so he drops off the game. Cool, cool, cool. Got a bunch of games, bought some, sold some, whatever. Then that same weekend, I end up at a friend's housewarming party
Mhm.
and Sergio was there. And I was like, I didn't even know that these friends knew Sergio. And so that was just like a kind of a wild thing. Like, we were just like, hey, he's like, I just gave you, sold you Escape from the Aliens game yesterday. And it's like, whoa, what a small world. Right. And
Yeah.
that's not even that crazy. Then I had another friend, my good friend Jordan, who I've been playing games with Jordan for like quite a few years. He shows up and we're all like doing that thing where we're standing around the game shelves, like, oh, what do you guys want to play? What do you want to play? And eventually we get to a point where Jordan says, he's like, yeah, I brought this game, Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space. And literally Sergio's standing right there and we're like, I have never heard him ever. He's never talked about this game. So the odds that he decided to bring that game to this party where Sergio was there who just sold me the game.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was like it blew my mind. It blew all our minds for a
That's
bit.
crazy.
but we actually and then we actually played it. And we played with, I think there were 7 of us.
Wow.
Like I said, it goes 2 to 8 players. And we were all new. So like anytime everybody's new to it, I consider it a cold teach. So I'm like, there are gonna be some rules bumps, I'm sure. But it's a learning game, right?
Mhm.
So the premise is it's kind of like a slight social deduction setting where we're on this spaceship, right? Some of us are aliens and some of us are humans. You get a roll
Mhm.
card at the beginning of the game, and you also have like kind of a special ability, or that might have been just for the aliens. But anyway, everybody has a dry erase booklet that has a bunch of different maps. So we
Mhm.
played the first map, and there are on the map, it's like these tiny hexes, and you have your pen, and you're going to be tracking like where you're moving around on the spaceship.
Okay.
The aliens are trying to eat the humans, as you'd imagine, like find them
Yeah.
and eat them. And the humans are basically trying to make their way to these escape pods that are at the edge of the map. And if they're all able to do that, like they can win. But
Mhm.
otherwise, if the aliens kind of take over, the aliens win. And I was an alien. And and I made this like major mistake the very first play of the game. Like I ended up like when you're an alien. So let me say, every turn you must move. Humans by default only move 1 space away. Aliens can move 1 or 2 spaces. And for my very first move, I decided to move 2 spaces. So I just write down on my little sheet, like I moved to A2 or whatever, whatever the space was. Now in this game, you have gray hexes and white hexes. If you move into a white hex, that's a silent area. So all you need to just say is, I think it's silence in all sections.
Mhm.
And then everyone knows wherever you moved to a white space. So it's like some deduction, like you're figuring some things out. When you move to a gray space, though, you have to draw a danger card, I think they're called.
Oh.
And this card is going to have one of 3 icons that's going to tell you if you, number 1, say silence, that means there's an icon where you don't have to say anything about your location. There's an icon that says you can make up whatever location you want. You could be lying or telling the truth. And then there's another icon that means you must say exactly where you are. So turn 1 of the game, Starla, I move 2, I draw this card, and the card I draw says I have to say my exact location. So I'm like, well, everybody's going to know I'm an alien because I couldn't get to this space if I was human. But I think because we were all new and there could have been like some confusion, or I could have been making it up.
Yeah.
Even though, would I make up a space that's 2 spaces away? I don't know. So it was a big blunder that I was not expecting. But everybody's doing this, and the cards that you're picking up when you go to these gray spaces, they sometimes are items that you can use. But after you move, and if you have to draw a card and everything, you can attack where you are. Now, if you attack and there's a human there, that human is going to become an alien. So on their next turn, they become an alien and starts like, and I think that we started with 4 aliens and 3 humans. So humans were already at a disadvantage in this game. But it was such a fun game to fumble through our first game, because even at the point where it was like, oh, we know Jordan, well, we know 2 people that are definitely aliens because one attacked the other. And then it became obvious, like mid-game, like who are aliens and who are humans, but you're still trying to like find each other and use deduction to be like, oh, okay, well, this person moved and then they said silence in all sections, so they had to be in a white space, but then they moved and they drew a card and they did this, Yeah. So it ended up being like hilarious, and I really can't wait to play it again, like now that we all know how it works. So it's like that kind of, I don't know, it almost reminded me of Nemesis and Blood on the Clock Tower or something. Or maybe Station Fall.
I think the aliens won, right?
Yeah, the aliens won. And it was funny because the other thing is, my friend Gigi, she took her turn, and I was like, did you draw a card? And she said something like, basically like, oh, just pretend I moved there or whatever. And I was like, wait, I don't think she understands the rule about like when you move to a gray space, you must draw a card. And she didn't. She was missing that for like half the game. So there were just all these hilarious things that happen. But it's something I'm going to hold on to and play more. I love that there are like a bunch of different maps. And again, now I want to see how it actually works now that we all like understand all the rules.
Well, isn't it so cool when you find a game and just fall for it? And it's like, where did this game come from? How did I not know about it sooner? And so now, you're so intrigued. But that's what's so wonderful about this hobby. There's so many games out there, and then you'll find one and they'll say, oh, this was made 10 years ago. Are you kidding me? This game is great.
Yeah, yes, yeah. It's very exciting. And that's part of the reason I love these like flea markets, to see what other people picked up that I missed, and vice versa. But yeah, that is Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space.
Oh, wow.
What else you been playing?
Okay, now here's another one that we played at Grand Con. We've played this several times before, but I just love it. It's such a really fun game. It's easy to learn, and that's called Castle Combo from Ketchup Games. And the designers of this game is Gregory Gerard and Matthew Roussel. And they also designed the game Zenith, the 2-player team game.
I love Zenith.
I love it. It's a 2 to 5 player game, Castle Combo. It came out in 2024. It's a tableau building game. And that's another mechanic that I like. I love tableau building games. And in this game, you are trying to build a 3x3 grid, a tableau. And you've got the town market that you can go to, or I guess we'll call it the castle or the royalty market you can go to.
Oh, right. Yeah.
2 different, markets. And you've got this evil little messenger. And the messenger, he's evil because he determines which market you can get your cards from on your turn. Now, the messenger can be in either location. And if you don't like where he is, then you've got to pay a key to move him somewhere else. So you hope that you have keys, because keys are what you use. They're like a currency. And then there's also a monetary currency as well. the little evil messenger, it's like every time it's my turn, wherever he is, that is not where I want him to be. So then I'm running out of keys, trying to move him around, and he's got this little look on his face like, ha ha ha, too bad for you, you know. It's like, I'm getting paid, I'm getting my keys. But the game is so much fun, and it's all about maximizing the points. So each card has a different criteria you're trying to meet, whether it's the card has to be in a special space, or the card has to be around other cards, or it has to have a particular shield on it. Whatever it is, you're trying to place those cards in your tableau so that you can maximize points at the end of the game. And it is so much fun. And in this game, it's always, not only is the messenger evil, but your opponents are always evil. And especially if you play with my husband, because my husband, he's definitely going to want to look and see what I have in my tableau. And if there's any way he can take a card from me
to deny you,
yes, he will do it. And it's just frustrating. But I love that type of frustration. It's that tension that you get because you get the satisfaction at the end, especially when you win, or at least in my case, if I just beat my husband, I'm totally happy. It's totally satisfied. And it's just awesome.
Yes, Castle Combo I've played a couple times. It is such a delight. Like you can kind of teach it to just about anyone, who's played some card games before.
Mhm.
And you're right, like just the decisions of trying to synergize and optimize your tableau for scoring, but then also you definitely feel that when somebody takes one of the cards you wanted, or somebody takes a card that shifts the little evil messenger and everything. But I love the art, and it's a banger. It's a banger.
Oh yeah, the art is really cute. It's real quirky. It's colorful. So you smile when you look at the little townspeople. And I was saying, you've got the two levels. It's peasants and nobles. That's what it is.
Yes,
so you can be in the peasant area or the noble area. And usually the peasant cards are going to be cheaper in cost to purchase because you have to purchase them. But then the noble cards, I think, give you more points at the end because their value is higher. Something like that with how it works.
Something like that.
Something like that. But, sometimes, you can win with a bunch of peasant cards. It depends on how you, put them in the tableau.
Yeah.
But it's a fun game. Fun game.
Sometimes I enjoy organizing my games just as much as actually playing them. I know it sounds crazy, but I know I'm not alone here. I also love blinging out my favorite games with upgrades and accessories that not only look good and feel good, but they also speed up setup and teardown time. Visit BoardGameGeekStore.com for premium gaming accessories and upgrades like bags and bowls in a variety of colors and sizes, deck boxes, sleeves, card holders, and more. And when I say more, I'm talking about those shiny, beautiful Geek Up bits, which are available for a bunch of different games, including our best-selling Quacks Geek Up bits. I can't think of a more luxurious way to brew potions. So treat yourself and your games to some new goodies from the BGG store at BoardGameGeekStore.com. I totally agree. Castle Combo, nice.
Mhm.
Well, that is a good segue into the next game I'll mention, because I just played a game called Antiques Ghost Show. And now, have you played this, or have you heard of this one?
I have not. But when you said it, you've got Antiques Roadshow. So it's a ghost show? That's insane.
Antiques Ghost Show. Yes. And this is also a card game. Not so much like a tableau builder in the way that Castle Combo is, but players are basically rival antique collectors, and we're going to this manor that we heard is having this auction. And when we get there, we find out that all of the items that are up for auction are haunted.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're haunted. But, we could probably, going into it, we're like, yeah, they're haunted, but people might be willing to, pay a lot of money for these if they're
Yeah.
cool, you know? So, anyway, this is a game designed by Nick Badayaka. 2025 release. This, I think, just came out around Gen Con from Trick or Treat Studios, who actually sent me a copy. My friend Will works for Trick or Treat Studios, and I had my other friend Chuck Case, who's a solo developer. He went to Gen Con and was sending me photos, and I was like, what is that? And then so when he said it looked cool, so he bought it, I was like, hey, Will, can you send this to me? So this is a game that plays with 2 to 4 players, and it's mostly cards. Like, there's a little board that you'll put in the center of the play area because you're going to be putting cards around it. And you have, I want to say, 6 different suits. They're types of items, different colors, and they range from 1 to 9, and that's the haunt value of the card. And the goal of the game is to have the collection of items, or your warehouse at the end, which is like your scoring cards in your area. You want to have the lowest total haunt value. And the way you calculate your haunt value is, let's say I end up getting a purple card that's a 3. So right now my haunt value is 3. And then maybe I get another purple card, and I splay that with the purples. Like, you kind of group the similar colors together. Because when you have the highest total haunt value of a particular color, you attract a collector, I think. Yeah, they're called collectors. So a collector comes to you. Like, if I have the highest total sum of my purple cards, the purple collector comes to me, and then that purple collector, while I have it, means that all of my purple cards just have a haunt value of 1. So I could have the 9 value purple card, I could have the 7, the 3, I could have all of them, but the total is just going to be 1 per card as long as I have that collector's attention. So number 1, so there's going to be a competition with, these different collectors are passing around, depending on who has the majority, the highest haunt level, I guess, of their combined cards. So that is a way to kind of keep your score down. Also, you could just avoid taking cards altogether, but the way you get cards, you might not be able to do that. And if you're playing with someone like Mick, you are definitely going to get screwed.
But sure. Tell me.
But on your turn, you take one of 2 actions. You either appraise, and that means you would add, you have a small hand of cards. I want to say 2 cards in hand, maybe 3. I don't remember. No, I think it's more than that. It could be 3 or 4 cards in hand. But if you appraise, you take one of those item cards from your hand and you add it to one of the card slots to make it, let's say that at the beginning of the game, you have 5 different card slots and you'll put cards there. And that's this is the auction spot. So when you appraise, you're going to add one of your cards to any card around this central board. And you just, what it looks like is it's splayed. So you could see all the cards, because that means it's a lot. So anytime, there's one card, there are these item lots.
Okay.
The other thing you could do on your turn is just move your pawn, because we each have a player pawn that's on these lots. So you can move your pawn to a different lot that doesn't have any other player pieces. That's what you're doing. But after you take an action, you have to check to see if any of the item lots are filled, meaning they have 3 cards. And if it's filled with 3 cards, whoever's pawn is there takes those cards. So this is how Mick is going to force you to take cards you don't want.
For sure.
But the other thing is, there's a card that's in the center of the board that's we'll say it's called the auction house card, I think. But basically,
Okay.
if you end up taking a lot that has the suit that matches, like let's say purple again, all your purple cards go away and that card goes away. So you're kind of like removing values from the you're removing cards from people's potential scoring situations. And then you have this card rotates
Mm-hmm.
the auction card, because then once that happens, we deal a new auction card out. And so now maybe orange is the suit that does that. So that kind of fluctuates.
Mm.
But the thing is, again, you're trying to either avoid collecting cards altogether or collect low value cards or collect so many higher value cards that you can attract the collectors to keep your score low. Because the final twist is that at the end of the game, when all the cards run out of the deck, you have to add all of the cards in your hand to your warehouse.
Oh, okay.
So you're also, while you're doing all these like little simple actions, you're thinking about which cards do I want left in hand by the end of this game, so that like when I add, because you have to add them to your warehouse and that's going to impact your scoring. So you're doing like that. Almost reminded me of like Arboretum, where in order to score a certain color, you have to have the most, because nobody knows what people have in their hands,
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyways, it was very cool. We played it with friends of ours who aren't really gamers. So it's definitely like a family friendly game. I will say the art, it's Trick or Treat Studios, so the art is kind of scary, but cool. Like, it's not gonna give you nightmares, but I don't know if people want young kids playing it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really like the art on the box cover, though. This is one like where we're playing it and it's like, okay, the rules are simple, and then you have these aha moments, like, oh, well, he's trying not to pick up cards, so if we all do an appraisal and add a card there, we're gonna force him to pick up a card. And again, this is stuff that you're gonna find out from Mick, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, that's a really good one, especially this time of year. We're getting ready for Halloween. You want
Yep.
to find those games that are, in the theme of Halloween, and that pretty much says it right there.
Yes. So if people out there are making their Halloween game night lists,
Yeah,
Antiques Ghost Show is definitely
that's a
one to
good
check
one.
out. Yeah, and I'm again, this is one that I've only played once. Both of these games I've only played once, but I see them, like I
Yeah.
see, and I can't wait to play it again. Well, Starla, let's talk about worker placement games. Well, I'll start by saying, I think it was episode 23 was the last time I had an episode that was kind of focused on worker placement games. And it was funny looking at the list that I brought then, because it's so different now. Like, I still love the games that I had on there, but lots has changed,
Well, like you said earlier, worker placement is one of those mechanics that really drew me into the hobby. When we first started in the hobby over a decade ago, I didn't know what worker placement was. It's like, what do you mean worker placement? I have to learn all this different terminology. But in
Yeah.
essence, it's just putting out your meeple or your dice or whatever your worker is, and you're getting something or doing something when you put them in a particular location or whatever. And I love that whole put out something, get something back. But what makes it difficult is the decision making, where, okay, I've only got a limited amount of workers, and how do I maximize these workers and get the most benefit from all the work I'm trying to do in this particular round? And that's where the decision making comes in, and you got to think about it, and you got to out strategize your opponents because you're looking at their workers and what they're doing. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And to add to that is like the sheer competitiveness of so many of them,
Mhm.
because like you'll have the cringe moments where it's like, like, oh, well, the decisions you're talking about, they are excruciating because it's like I need to do both those things, but
Mm-hmm.
which one do I do first? And oh crap, somebody did the other thing.
Right.
Like it's that competitiveness of like
Mm-hmm.
that tension of like, am I gonna get to do that, or is somebody gonna beat me to it? Or should I prioritize that? And yeah, when you have like a limited amount of resources too, like in
Mm-hmm.
terms of your workers, and there's so many now too that have different types of workers that have,
Mm-hmm.
that do different things, or maybe you get additional workers, or maybe you lose workers somehow. It is a really, really cool mechanism.
And I love it. I mean, even though on my list, I have some of my oldies that I fell in love with, and then I have some newer games that I've
Yeah,
learned recently. But when I started looking at it, and you said five, and so I know we're kind of going from our five to our number one for right now. It was
right.
hard. It was
Yeah.
hard because then I didn't realize how many worker placement games I actually played and love. I had to go through the list. Like, oh my God, yeah, I forgot about that one. Oh, I forgot that one. I forgot that one. So actually, just making this list was almost like worker placement in a way because I'm trying to make decisions. It's like, okay, which game gets to go on the list, that I can talk about and share with people, and which one does not. So
Yeah.
I missed at
Yeah.
least 10 games, but I hope I have a good list, and it's just one that I think has a good variety of games, I hope.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, and I totally agree. Even though I do 5 and usually number them 5 to 1, like it is hard to say like there are so many that we love, cuz
Mhm,
I probably could have spent, or I could have come up with a list of like 20, and I kind of went a little fast and loose as I was thinking of games, cuz I was like, well, what have I played recently that's resonated with me and had worker placement?
mhm,
And even though like there are certain games like Tricarion
mhm,
that I love and appreciate, but it's not something I get to the table often
mhm.
enough. So it's like, I don't know, there are tons of really, really cool worker placement games, but
Right.
let's just jump into your number 5.
All right, so let's look at number 5, and this is one that I almost forgot, and I saw it on my list. I said, "You know what? I have to talk about it because it doesn't get enough love, and so I wanna give it some love," and that's Alpujarras, from Dr. Finn Games, designed by Steve Finn. It came out in 2023. It's a 1 to 4 player game, and in this game, it is
Oh,
so colorful, interesting, and I think what I fell in love with, I love little meeple or wooden pieces that are in different shapes, and this
oh
one had
yeah,
fruit
yeah.
shape. So in this game, it's set during, the Arab agricultural revolution. It's a turn-based game. Players, you're going to move around this like board, and you've got a mule, and you're on this action track, and you've got to select different actions. So again, making all these decisions. And as you do these actions, you're placing your farmers, and you're expanding your irrigation. So you perform these actions, and you're trying to grow
Hmm.
fruit. And when you grow the
Cool.
fruit, you've got the oranges and the lemons and all that. And when you grow it, you deliver it to the towns and you get a chance to sell it to people. I love this game.
I've
Love the way
never
it
even
looks.
heard of it.
See, that's what I mean. Not getting enough love.
Wow. You know,
Yes.
I need to look it up now because
Mhm.
I number one, I love like chunky shaped, custom shaped meeples and everything, and especially when they're screen printed. But I actually don't like farming games,
Oh
but
no, this is a good
what?
one
No,
though.
I know, but you know what? It made it even more intriguing is that you're growing fruit. I don't know, like the
Yeah,
fruit aspect seems more fun to me than collecting wheat and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But what is the title? What is it called again?
It's Alpujarras, and it's Alpujarras. Love this game.
Wow! Yay!
Mhm.
I'm so glad you the first one. I don't even know what it is. That's great.
Dr. Finn. Dr. Finn's game. Yep.
Cool, cool. All right, now I have to think about which one because let me just see real quick.
You got to put them in order, Candace.
I have everything in order except one. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah, I'll do it. Okay. Well, wait. I'm torn between two. I'm going to say Dilluvia Project.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever heard of this one?
I have not.
Okay, this is another hidden gem. Unfortunately, it is a little bit harder to find because it was a Tasty Minstrel Games and Spielworks put it out. But it's designed by Alexander Garcia, came out in 2015, and it's another, hidden gem kind of game. It plays with 2 to 4 players, and thematically, Earth is overpopulated, but there are a bunch of new technologies that make it possible for us to build cities that are hovering in the sky. So in this game, we're entrepreneurs trying to construct the first sky city. And the thing that's cool about this game is you have this market phase where you do tile drafting, and then you have an action phase where you do worker placement. And in the tile drafting part, you have a 4x4 grid of these different tiles that you're going to be kind of competing to grab. And I just realized a connection with this in the game that the next one I'll talk about that I was deciding between. But anyway, you have a Zeppelin, and then you're picking a row or column, and depending on how far away from your Zeppelin the item is, that is how you determine the cost. So it could be 1, 2, or 3. And it's like a game where money and resources are very, very tight. So off the bat, you have this just this tile drafting phase, which is really competitive and kind of a unique mechanism. And then you have a worker placement phase where you can reserve plots of land, get resources, potentially buy leftover tiles from the market, or you can spend money to construct buildings. And there are a couple special workers, and if you're the first person to place a special worker in a section, you get a bonus. And I think there might only be one person who could put a special on each space. But then you have then you're kind of building up this sky city on a shared board. And I also just love the the look of this game, but I will say the graphic design can be challenging because they leaned a little more into making it look cool, where they could have pulled it back a little and made it a little more functional. But it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's just it could have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is there's this 2-part scoring system where you're getting population and prestige, but you win by having the most population, but the only way to get population is by advancing your prestige, and you have to hit these different targets. It's been a while since I played it, but there's just a lot of player interaction. With the tile drafting choices, the worker placement is tight and competitive, and you're doing the thing that I love, which is building stuff on a shared board. So so this is Dilluvia Project. If you ever see it at a con library or something, definitely worth playing. It's a fantastic game, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new edition of it at some point.
How long does it play?
I want to say it would probably be a 2-hour game. It's probably medium plus in weight. It's not super hard. It's not a Mind Clash game or anything like that. But it's also not as light as something perhaps the Apple game you were just talking about. but it's very, very good. It's very, very good. It's a nice blend. Yeah, and the worker placement is just great because of all the other stuff you're doing.
Okay.
So yeah, that's Dilluvia Project, my number 5.
All right. So now let's move on to my number 4.
Yes.
Now, my number 4 is one of those games that I learned about. Again, we went back about 10 or 12 years when first time I played this game. And when I first played it, it not only blew my mind, it kind of frustrated me a bit because it was hard for me to understand it. And that is Stone Age from Hans M. Gluck. It was
Nice.
designed by Bernd Brunhofer. It's a 2 to 4 player game. It came out in 2008. And we were at a game night. We were living in Houston at the time, and we were at a game night. And the game night was being held at a little restaurant called, what was it called? Was it not Taco Cabana? I think it is Taco Cabana. And it was, it's kind of a lot of activity going on. They had the group of us in a little corner playing games. And the lady who was trying to teach us the game, I think she did the best she could, but I got frustrated learning it. And I think just because I was so new, I wasn't grasping. And this is really worker placement 101. It's all about worker placement because in this game, you've got these tribes members and you can build your tribe up to 10 members, I think it is. And you've got these different phases you're going to go through. I think it's 3 of them. So in the first phase, you're going to place your workers out there to get resources. And you go out and you can go hunting, you can get wood, you can go get food, you can get stone and gold and all these different things. And each round you're trying to build up your workers. You can also put your workers in the village where you can increase your tribe or go up the food. They have a food track where you don't have to work so hard for food because at the end of every round, you've got to feature your tribe and make sure everybody has food. And I guess that's what was getting me. I wasn't understanding I got to feed my tribe and I don't want to lose anybody. And at some point, you've got to figure out what's the best size tribe that's going to give you the maximum advantage. And when I play with my husband, he wants to get all 10 members. But I found that I work best at around 8. I don't need all 10 to get what I need because you spend so much time trying to increase your tribe that you're not putting people out there.
Right. And the game ends.
And go, and get tiles and, get all these things. And I love the way it looks. It's just a fascinating little game with putting your little meeples out there. And I don't know, like I said, the first time it kind of threw me for a loop. But once I got it and it finally that light bulb went off, and like I said, I realized, okay, because the first 3 times I was getting it and I saw him getting 10 tribes members, I'm going to try to get 10.
Right.
And I said, well, I need 10. I'm going to go down to 6. 6 wasn't working. And I fell upon the magical number of 8. And I don't know about everybody else, but that number
that's your number.
If I can get my tribe up to 8, I think you start off with 5 and then you build up from there. But if I can get my tribe up to 8, then I'm golden. I can get everything I need done. And that's when I can beat him. But Stone Age is a fun one. I know it's an old game, but for me, I always tell people, if you're a hobbyist, it may be old. But if you're somebody who's not a hobbyist, it's still new to you.
Yes.
So that game is going to be fun to you. And I love, introducing these, what we call old, to somebody who's never played.
Right.
And it's something new to them.
Yes. Yeah. And it's been a while since I played Stone Age, but I loved it. And I definitely taught it to our friends Tony and Autumn when they were kind of just getting the passion for playing board games. And I remember it was one that they were like, oh, we love Stone Age. I think I might have passed my copy on to them. And when remember they came out with that like snowy version of Stone Age?
Yeah. I don't like it.
Oh, really? I was like, I think I always wanted it, but never actually got it. And I don't think I ever saw it, really.
I love it. And Mick always talks about the cup that comes with Stone Age. We have one of the old ones that has the leather cup. He calls it the stinky cup. I'm not trying to smell the cup. That's what you put your dice in to roll everything. I don't consider it that, but I just think, forget about the way the cup smells, but I love that we have the leather cup. I think that's very unique.
That's cool.
We have that in the game. But yeah, this game just something about it has resonated with me. It's going to be beloved for me. I think forever in this hobby, because there's
Yeah.
some games that you play that just leave an indelible mark on your memory and on the experiences that you have in the hobby, that no matter how old they get, you're going to love that game.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm,
and honestly, you bringing Stone Age up, because
mhm,
yeah, it's just not something a lot of people are talking about these days, or at least,
mhm,
like, people in our, like, deep hobby world,
mhm.
because it is so old, but it is really, really good, and now I kinda, like, wanna play it.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, awesome. That's Stone
What's your number
Age.
4, Candace? Come on now. You got it in
My
order now.
Yeah, I got it now. And so my number 4 is, a game that I just discovered about, I think it was either earlier this year or last year, and it's called Whistle Mountain.
Oh, okay. I've seen that one. I have not played it.
Yes, this is another, like, hidden gem, but this one is still available. I think because it came out in 2020, I think it never, like, fell onto a lot of people's radars. It's designed by Scott Caputo and Luke Laurie, and it's from Bezier Games.
Mhm,
Plays with 2 to 4 players, and there was a game that I think Scott Caputo did before called Whistle Stop, which I've
mhm,
never played, and as far as I know, it's completely different. So I think
mhm,
that's another thing too. Like when Whistle Mountain came out, maybe people were like, "Oh, that's the sequel. If I didn't play that, or if I didn't like that, maybe I don't know." But like Whistle Mountain is cool because it's a worker placement game with polyomino tile laying in a shared space.
mhm.
So I just realized that like this is another game like Dilluvia Project. I mean, Dilluvia Projects aren't polyominoes, but this game thematically, we're in the Rocky Mountains and there are a bunch of resources and we have workers and we're going to be building like scaffolds, and then we're going to build machines on top of them. So you're doing like tile placement, but then as the areas of the board get covered with tiles, you can like build machines on them and do stuff. And the the iconography and everything for this game is so excellent. You know, there are a lot of different buildings you can get or different effects, but like the iconography is so good that like once you learn a couple things, you're like, "Oh, yeah, this does that, this does this." So, your workers in this game are these 3 different size airships. And so you're talking about you like the custom shaped meeples. These are wooden ships that are different sizes. And one of the things you can do is place them out like around the board. You have like regular worker placement spaces where you can buy machines that you want to eventually build that'll like help you in some way. You can get, oh, I don't remember everything, but you can get stuff. All right. You get stuff around the board, and there is competition to get stuff. And I think certain times, like if you're buying certain tiles, like getting there first, you have better options or you get a bonus. But then also, the way you collect resources is by placing your airships on to the grid, the like shared space where we're all building up this scaffolding and everything. And
Mm.
the resources that you cover up with your polyomino are the resources that you gain. So there are ways to like optimize, and there's a lot of competition to like place your airship in the right place to get like a bunch of cool stuff. And then later as the game develops, you're building these machines. So then you can place your airship so that it's touching a machine and you get to use the machine and all this and that. But the other thing that I really like is that the way the end of the game is triggered is by like I guess there's like a flood kind of thing.
Mhm,
So on the board, you're going to be gradually, I forget what triggers it exactly, but you're adding these long water, um, rectangular water sticks. They're tiles, but they're long, and you're going to be adding them gradually to represent the water rising and rising. And when the water like hits a building or something that you've done, like nobody can ever go there anymore. Like it's game over. And as you build, as players build stuff, that's what signals the water coming out. And so it's all like a very player driven thing, which I love. And then you also have this element of you have your workers, worker placement wise, are airships, but you also have little meeples that they're working on the scaffolding, and you're trying to do stuff to promote them so they can go to like one of these like retirement slots. Otherwise, they might get flooded, and then like they'll be in the like pool where I think you can save some of them in this whirlpool, or or you you could save some of them because I think they're negative points at the end of the game. But it just ends up being this really fun worker placement game with the extra interaction of all this stuff going on in the board and knowing the timing of when do I want to place my ship to, get a new building tile that's face up, or do I want to go try to grab those resources? And also because of the size of each of the ships, as the board fills up, it's going to limit how you can place your ships out there. Because I don't remember if it was like they can't be half on a tile or half on, there are some placement rules where managing your worker airships becomes important. But I just love, it's just fun. It's just such a fun game. It's a very like medium weight Euro. I ended up like, after I played it the first time, I bought this really nice insert. So now I need to play it again. And I highly recommend it. Whistle Mountain. And, if any of these games that I'm mentioning that you haven't played, I would be happy to teach and play with you at BGG Con or whenever we're at a convention together next.
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah, cool. That's Whistle Mountain. All right, you're number 3.
Okay, number 3 for me. Now, I'm doing something a little bit newer this time.
Okay.
This one on my list is one that I just thought was really interesting. It's just right up my alley. It's a city building game that has worker placement, and that is called Cities from Dilluvia. It's Phil Walker Harding and Steve Finn. Dr. Finn. It's a 4-player game. It came out in 2024. And I love city building games. That would be another
genre that you mechanic that you like. Yeah.
That I really like, putting cities together. And so they've got these different destinations you can choose, which, kind of sets the tone for the game. They have Sydney and I think it's Venice and New York.
Oh,
cool. Rio and Mexico City. And so that sets the tone. It sets the different gameplay for that particular game. And so you're drafting projects and you're building neighborhoods. And so you've got these tiles and you're going to put them into your little city, and you're going to stack your buildings up to 4 stories tall. So you have these cards that you can collect during the game, and you can get so many points for, buildings of a certain height or of a certain color or a collection of colors. They have, again, different criteria for you to meet. And so you're doing that. You've only got 8 rounds to play. And so you got to make a lot of, decisions. So you got again, it's almost like these other games I talked about playing with my husband, especially, inevitably he's going to grab the tiles because you got to place your workers on different rows to pick, what you want. And he'll always get the stuff that I need. It always feels that way anyway. I say he does it on purpose. Probably not, but it just feels that way.
Yeah.
But I love the way it looks. You can put monuments in your city and water features and parks. And I always like, to tease, my husband, we always do a lot of trash talking in our games. It's like, people like my city because I have more parks than you. And that's why I have better lakes. And, he's like, oh, no, so, yes, I do see, I have better lakes, but if I do something like that, that means I have a card that has a requirement that you need to have the most water or the most, I love those type of things. So I'm looking for one type of thing. They're looking for something else. But sometimes, they kind of overlap. And
Right, right.
it's a fun little game where you're just building a city. I love, like, again, I love the way it looks, the table presence of the buildings, that kind of stuff. So it's a fun game.
I have never played Cities, and I mean, I know it just came out like a year ago, so it's not like it's been around forever, but I've heard when it came out last year at Gen Con or whenever it was, I kept hearing people that loved it. And actually, I was like trying to play it, and I just never got around to it, but it
Mhm.
sounds really fun.
Oh,
And
you
I
gotta
remember
play
it looks cool. It has a cool presence.
Yeah, you got to play it. It may be too light because I know you like those heavy games, but it's a fun little game.
I like the good light ones too. But yeah, and also just cuz I play with so many like different people that are different levels, I like having good lighter games like stuff like Tower Up. Did you play Tower Up?
I no, I have not. No,
Starla!
I have not played it.
Do you guys have Tower Up?
Nope, we do not.
Okay, it's not a worker placement game, but oh, we need to play that. You'll love
Okay.
that cuz it's light. It's there you're building on the board and you're building these buildings up and oh, it's so good. It's so good. That that was another last year release that was kind of a sleeper game until I think till Eric ended up like discovering it maybe there or a couple days before Gen Con and was like, "Hey, you need to play
Mhm,
this." And it's very cool. Yeah.
mhm.
So anyway, we'll put a pin in that until we see each other next.
Okay, okay, I'll keep you to that.
Yes. Yes, yes. It's a banger. Okay, so my number 3 is a game that was new to me this year, but it's an older game, and it's called Argent the Consortium.
I've heard of that. I've never played it.
Yeah, so this I figured you probably heard of it because, I guess well, I got in the hobby around 2018 and like when I
Mhm,
got into worker placement games and kind of started getting into slightly heavier games, this was always on people's list as like a heavier worker placement that's really really good. And I bought it at some point and was intimidated by it, frankly. And then I never played it until this year. And spoiler alert, it's definitely not as heavy as it felt in relation, I guess, to other
mhm.
games back when it first came out and stuff. Cause it's I would consider it medium. Like there's a lot of stuff, but it's not like complicated in any way. But anyways, this game came out in 2015. It's from Trey Chambers. And
Well,
it
okay.
yeah, it's published by did you play Spooktacular?
That's okay. Trey Chambers. That's why I know it. Trey Chambers is from Houston. And so,
Oh,
yeah, so we know him from there, but he also did a game that we love called Harvest.
yes,
So
yes,
I
yes.
love, Harvest just had a remake, but I like his original version of Harvest better than the remake.
And you know what? I've heard Harvest is good, but
Mhm.
farming, so I haven't played it.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'll have to try it sometime. But yeah, that's Trey Chambers designed this one, and it plays with 2 to 5 players, and it's worker placement with like engine building where we're basically
Mhm.
part of the staff at
Mhm.
Argent University of Magic, a magic
Mhm.
school, and we're competing to become the chancellor. And one of the things I love about this game is there aren't really like there's no victory point track, but you
Right.
have these 12 votes that are going to be divvied up for like what people are looking for in this for the new chancellor. And at the beginning of the game, you only know, I think, 1 or 2 of those because the
Mhm.
rest of the cards are face down. So there's one that's face up, like whoever has the most influence is going to win this vote. Whoever
Mhm.
has the most supporters or this resource. They're all like kind of resource related, having the majority of something. But you play 5 rounds, and whoever has the most votes out of those 12 wins the game. And as you play the game, you'll gradually be able to like take a look to see what other people are looking for that are voting. So, and sometimes it'll be like, I know something that you don't know, but you might see like, oh, Candace is saving up a lot of money. Maybe one of those goals is related to having the most money or something like that.
Mhm.
So off the bat, I just like it because there's no like traditional victory points, and it's the scoring is neat. And there are a bunch of different cards, so you don't know exactly what's going to be out each game that you play. The other thing that's really cool is that there's a lot of variability because there are different types of mages, and those are our workers. And
Mhm.
everybody starts the game with, I think, like 2 of one color, and then there's like sort of a draft, I believe, that where you get these different color mages, and they're little plastic miniatures, and you might be able to like get different ones or swap some out during the game. And each of those mages have like a different little ability that, like, oh, if you place the purple worker when you're doing XYZ, you'll get to do it twice or whatever. Like, they all have some little bonus to them that's actually very thematic. And
Yeah.
and then the other thing is the game board, there is no game board. You place tiles out. So you have all these different location tiles, like room tiles. And so that's another point of variability because they're double-sided and the board is always set up in a modular with a modular setup. And the other thing is, this is a game because it's an older game, but also just because of the way some of the mechanisms work, you place all your workers and then you resolve, starting from like the top location, going right, then moving down. And so the order in which things resolve, like I don't know, like something like dominant species or something, but like
Mhm.
the order in which things, because it's like, oh, if I'm eventually going to try to get this scroll, well, I need these resources, so where am I going to get that from, before. Meanwhile, and there are ways that you can kind of boot players off of spaces,
Mhm.
but it's not that bad because they get to go to like the infirmary, and you get some cool little bonus if you get knocked to the infirmary. But then there are like spaces where you can shadow another worker, meaning you get to do the thing before them, and often you're competing for spell cards that they're spell cards, they're supporter cards. So you will be building a tableau. And I think that's
Mhm.
part of what looks intimidating about this game
Mhm.
is it takes up a lot of the table, but it is just so fun.
Right.
It's so fun. And there's a whole thing of the timing of when the round ends is once everybody takes I forget what these cards are called, but you can choose to take one of these cards as an action. And it's like, it's got something cool on it. And then, people take turns. Oh, all of a sudden, Mick took one of those cards. Uh-oh. So you feel the round is about to end. So players are driving that, which I love too. But yeah, it's such a cool game. And I know this one should be still available, but I was so intimidated back in the day. But even like playing with my partner, Matt, he doesn't like a lot of like heavy games. And he was like, oh, this is not hard. So I highly recommend it. It's super fun.
Okay.
Argent, the Consortium.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now we're on to my number 2.
You're number 2.
This is one of my favorite modern, more recent worker placement games. It's the cutest little game. I mean, from the artwork to the whole theme of it is just as cute as it can be. And that just, if you have the cute factor, I'm totally sold.
Love
So
it.
this one is Creature Comforts
I knew
from
it.
KTBG. It was designed by Roberta Taylor.
Yes.
This game is a 1 to 5 player game. Came out in 2022. And it takes place over, you've got 3 different seasons that you're hitting. You're hitting spring and summer and fall. And during that time, you're going to use your cute little workers to go out and gather goods from the forest and use them to collect items that's going to improve your den before winter comes. So
Yep.
each round, the players, the players, you're going to assign family members to family members. That's right. You're
Yes.
going to assign family members to various, because that is your family, various locations, and you're going to get supplies. And so if you don't get the supplies you're looking for, like you've got these different things you're trying to do, then you gain a lesson. It's a little token that has a little Band-Aid on it. So it's
So
just
cute.
totally wild the way the game is. And so some of our favorite characters, I like to play the raccoons, and then Mick likes to play the bunnies. And so I told Mick that I love the raccoons because the raccoons, they've got these little paws and they can grab up stuff, and so I win with my raccoons. And he said, "Oh no, I've got the bunny mafia." And so the bunny mafia goes out and gets stuff. And he always wants to have in his den the games, because in the game there's a card that has board games. So he's going to go for that board game card every time. And then I like to make sure, he knows me, I like to make it make sense. So I like to have, the blanket, and I want to have food, and I want to have something to make it cozy. I go for that. I mean, I would love to have board games during the wintertime, but I'm trying to go for making
food
sure that
and warmth first.
Yeah, my family's gonna have blankets, gonna have maybe a rocking chair. We're gonna have all, so those are things I like to go for. And I like they have different tracks and different places you can go to put your workers. And it's a combination of workers. You've got little meeple workers, and you also have dice workers. So you've got a combination of workers that you're gonna use. And I love the way it looks. Oh my God, the game is just so cute. And they just did such a great job with it. And then, they've got the sequel that they put out, Maple Valley, where the kids are having a little festival. But that whole line, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Creature Comforts, I just love. Yeah, I just love it. It's just fun to look at, fun to play. I just love it.
Yeah, it's, I feel like that was like one of the first more modern cozy games. And like Roberta, as a designer, she is all about like bringing out cozy feelings, and you're totally right. Like everything about that game is like, oh, we're getting stuff for winter. I want socks. I want blankets.
And they have events, event cards, and have you do different things. And I mean, the game just works well. It's just everything works so well together. And it's every time I play it, I'm just having a really good time with it. And I love games where I can just get into the theme. And I get into it, this is my family. We're going to get the stuff we need.
I love it. I love it. And the other thing that's cool about Creature Comforts is that, because it's cartoony and light looking, there's still like a meaty game in there,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's not like a kiddie game, even though you could teach kids to play it and stuff like that. But it's very, very cozy. Good pick. Creature Comforts.
Creature Comforts.
Okay, so now we're going with my number 2, which is an old game that I just got. And it's almost feels like a worker placement in disguise. But this is a game called Diamonds Club. It is, it's from 2008. And I'm pretty sure there was never an English edition printed. It's a Ravensburger game that released in Germany, and I think that was it. But I'm going to talk about it because I think this one needs a reprint. It's very good. And it's designed by Rudiger Dorn, who's the designer of Goa and Istanbul, Karuba, like all sorts of games. But this game, we're in London. It's 1899. And we are all very successful gemstone dealers. And we're basically trying to make money from trading gemstones to build like a beautiful park. Yeah, we're and the park is we have our own player boards. We're going to be like collecting tiles and putting them out to like kind of build our park. And that's actually the trigger for the end of the board, or the end of the board. That's actually the trigger for the end of the game, is when someone places their last tile on their board. I don't remember if you get one more. You might get one more round or something like that. But anyway, the thing that's really cool about this game, and it also makes me think of Dilluvia Project, or playing this one reminded me of Dilluvia Project, even though this is older than Dilluvia Project. But it's an older game, so you have like 5 phases. You have 5 phases, I think. And the first phase is the worker placement phase. But the way it works is you're going to be playing coins, money, onto spaces. I should say this too. Every round, you rebuild this central part of the board, because there are these long slats of tiles, or tile slats, that you randomly put out a number of light brown ones and dark brown ones. So the order and position of different bonuses and, you know, what you get when you place money changes every round. So at either the beginning of the round, I think at the beginning of the round, you get income. And at the start of the game, everybody starts with 10 coins, I believe. And you can do stuff to increase that. But you place a coin out on any empty space. If there are any spaces that are orthogonally adjacent that have coins on it, you have to increase the amount of coins you're paying to place your coin there. So that means on the surface, this game did not look like a worker placement game. We don't have meeples or anything, but we have this grid of stuff that we want to get. And some stuff is better than others, and we want to get there first and get there fast. But the more these coins start going on the board, the more expensive everything gets. And the actions you're doing are like very, very straightforward. Like you could like some of the things, you have these tech tracks. So you have 3 I'll call them tech tracks, but like they're very, like, one of them's gonna help you increase your income that you get each round. One of them's gonna give you bonus gems when you get gems. And one of them is going to, let me see if I remember. One of them is going to give you more points for these forest tiles that you can build into your park. So one of the things you could do, like, is when you, or one of the like boxes you could put coins on, is something that's going to advance one of those tracks. Sometimes it's a wild track. So then you can pick whichever one you want. And those spaces, you know, like people want those. And then you also have a score track. So certain things, certain spaces you can go on, advance. I think there's a hat icon or something, but certain spaces will let you advance on this track for turn order for a later phase in the game, which is very important. And also with turn order, there's some other bonus, like whoever's furthest ahead on this track, you get a diamond crystal, because you have like red, blue, green, and yellow, I believe, gems. And then you have white clear gems that are like diamonds that are wild. And so they are really, really cool. And so whoever gets furthest ahead on this track gets a free diamond. And then you also have these, like, you can get ships, mines, which is how you're going to get the gems, and mining rights. So there are 3 different types of tiles, because in the next phase, or it might be 2 phases later, you then can get gems based on having a set of all 3 of these things. So let me give you an example so it makes sense. Maybe at some point I pick up a mine that's a blue crystal mine. Okay, so I have that. Then I get a ship that's maybe a number 4 ship. But then my mining rights, I have a level 3 of that. So now I have a set. So when we go to like generate gems, I get 3 blue gems, because you need to have all 3 tiles. and then the color of the gem is telling you the mine you're getting it from, and then between the ship and the mining rights, whichever number is lower, that's the amount of gems you get. So there's just all sorts of things because it's like set collection, but you need to have that set to generate these gems. And then in the last phase, or the last main phase, you are then spending the gems that you've acquired to build stuff on your park. And there's like a fountain you can build. Like there are like 3 different things that you can build into your park. And of course, because it's like a Euro game, you have scoring objectives, public scoring objectives, like the first person that builds 3 fountains in their park, the first person that does this you're getting extra points that way. But the auction to get the pieces for your park, there's a spot, like let's say I want a fountain, and I'm first because turn order matters. I put my piece down and it says for a fountain, I need to spend a red, green, and a blue gem. So I pay those gems, I get a fountain, I put it anywhere on my board. Then, Starla, if you want to build a fountain when it comes to your turn, you have to pay those same 3 gems plus 1 because my piece is there. And then the next person, if they wanted to do that. So then you're like, you have this competition over the prices of getting certain things as we're racing to have a number of these things in our park. And it's, oh my gosh, it's so competitive. It's so competitive, but it's also just such a like easy design with just these 3 tracks. And also like the forest tiles, like the 3rd track I was mentioning, the further you go down there, the more valuable these forest tiles are. Because on the back of all the other like 3 major types of things is just a forest. And one of the spaces during this phase where you can use your gems to buy tiles, you can simply buy a forest tile. But it's not going to mean much unless you move that track down. So it's just like a really, really banger of a game that I cannot believe does not have a new edition. So I'm just putting it out into the universe that I think somebody should handle that. Like retheme it if you want, modernize it, but it is such a tight game and it's very, very streamlined. Like with the actions, like I could teach you this game in 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes. Give me 6.5 minutes and we'll be playing. And it's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, so that's Diamonds Club. And this one was a game that I was I heard about a year or 2 ago. And I was just like, oh, nobody's selling it. Or maybe one person in Germany has it, but it's listed for $100 or something. And it came back into my mind like a month ago. And I was like, what was that game? I look it up and somebody was selling it in the States for $50, very good condition. Buy now. So I'm really, really happy to have it in my collection now. And again, I hope somebody remakes this. It's really, really awesome.
What's amazing is we're doing all these games and we haven't had one crossover.
I know. I'm surprised. And I know you're not going to cross over on my number 1.
I don't think you're going to cross over on my number 1 either.
All right. Well, tell me what it is.
All right. So I'm going back in time.
Okay.
This is another one of those games that actually, I think it's my first worker placement game. I played this one before Stone Age.
Wow. Okay.
And this one took me by surprise because the theming of the game is not my thing. And so it took me by surprise. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm not going to tease people much longer. Okay. This is Lords of Waterdeep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, when you said the theme, I was like going to guess viticulture at first, but
no, Lords of Waterdeep, because I'm not into, Dungeons and Dragons. That's not my thing. Yeah. My husband likes Dungeons and Dragons. And so he said, well, no, it's in the Dungeons and Dragons world, but it's not Dungeons and Dragons per se, but it's in the world. And I want you to try it. So we were trying out this worker placement. Now, this game is made by Wizards of the Coast, and the designers are Peter Lee and Rodney Thompson. It's a 2 to 5 player game, and it came out in 2012. Now, in this game, you're gonna have a hidden role. So in the beginning, you're gonna pick a card, and it's gonna be your masked lord for this particular game, and it gives you a particular power or something that you're looking for throughout the game. And then as you go on, you got 8 rounds, and so you're gonna deploy all of your meeples or your agents out to recruit adventurers. You're gonna go on quest. You're gonna get buildings. They've got these things called intrigue cards, where you can, either help players or hurt players or help yourself. They've got when you're doing buildings. So, for example, when you buy a building, you can buy buildings that that'll help you, or that'll help your opponents. And then every time someone comes to your building, they give you something, or you gain. They don't give you get something. I put it that way. I love that. So I love getting buildings that I know people are going to want to visit, because that gives you more options for your workers to go to. Those buildings give you more locations, and you're waiting on people to add buildings, because when you start off, you don't have but a few places you can go to get resources. So getting those buildings out there, you can get more things. I fell in love with this game. It is still it's my ultimate favorite. That's why it's number 1. I love the hidden roles. I love knowing, okay, my lord is doing this. Maybe I'm looking for, I think, what do they have? Arcana. You have different factions that are out there, and you're looking for those kind of cards to have in the end. I don't know. I love it. I don't know how to pronounce it. Oh, I know what I want to say about it.
What?
My husband, this is the first game where he blinged out the game, because it comes with little cubes. And so he got on, I think it was either Etsy, or I don't think it was the Board Game Geek store, but I think it was Etsy.
Source or something.
Yeah. And he got all of the little characters, the warriors, the priests, and all those. They were made in the different shapes. And I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Grant loved it. We introduced this game to Grant when he was about 10 or 11 years old.
Wow, cool.
We loved it. We would play this game all the time. Still love it. People who haven't played it, they need to try it out. It is worker placement 101. That's the whole game. You're putting your workers out there, you're getting something, and, and that's the whole, you're fulfilling, different requirements on cards. There's set collecting in there. Love this game. And again, I'm not an RPG person, so, Dungeons and Dragons is not my thing. Right. But this game takes it to a different level. And then they've got the expansion called Skullport, which I like Skullport. I don't like getting the skulls, because the skulls are bad. But I like having that option, that if I really need something really bad, I may have to take a few of the bad skulls in order to get it.
Yeah.
Overall, the game is just excellent.
I completely agree. So this was one that I remember, like, when I, was first out there looking for more worker placement games. It was on so many people's, like, top 10 lists, maybe like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever. But I had never played it. And I think similar reasons, like, I was like, I don't, that theme. But, like, a lot of people were still saying, oh, Lords of Waterdeep is really good. Lords of Waterdeep. And also that it's, like, a good intro for worker placement. And like, I want to say it was a year ago, maybe two. I played it for the first time, because my friend Sam has, like, everything for it. And, we were at my local game convention, and we're just like, oh, what did we play? Oh, I brought Lords of Waterdeep. You want to play? Sure. I loved it. And that was, like, after, at that point, I had played tons and tons of worker placement games. And now, Starla, you're making me want to add this to my collection. But the other reason I think I'm going to have to, like, pick this one up is because I love Tyrants of the Underdark, which is the same designers. Same designers, same D&D kind of, like, theming, which I don't care about either, but the game is so clean. Like, I'm like, Tyrants of the Underdark, I would pick over, like, Clank in terms of having a deck building.
Really? Over Clank?
Yeah.
I
Well,
love Clank.
I know that's not going to be a favorable answer to a lot of people. I loved Clank, but at some point, I don't know if it's because some of my friends loved it too much that I'm like, I'm sick of Clank. but Tyrants of the Underdark is like deck building 101, but with area control 101 on the board, and it's such a clean design, just like Lords of Waterdeep is for worker placement, but it still does some things that are like awesome this day and age, you know? Great. Yeah, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to get it.
Yeah. Candace, I think you should have it. You should have it.
Yeah, I think I need to have this one too. So thank you for putting it back on my radar, because I definitely like loved it the first and only time I played it. And for some reason I resisted getting it then, but now I know this is a sign from the universe. So speaking of Clank, my number one is Dune Imperium Uprising.
Okay, that almost made my list.
Okay.
I love it. It almost made it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is by the same designer as Clank. I mean, I have talked about this game many a times on the podcast. Like, I believe when I did the worker placement list, like 50 episodes ago, Dune Imperium was my number one. And I still think, like, it's not something that I'm necessarily always in the mood for, because it is so competitive and like, but I love it. I love worker placement and deck building. And it just like, Paul Denon does it so great. And Uprising, the changes in Uprising are great. I love that you could play the 3v3 mode. That is super cool. I love that it has the intrigue cards, similar to what you were talking about with Lords of Waterdeep. Like the intrigue cards, and then the scoring. Oh my gosh, I love that it's just like first to 10 points, and every single point matters, and that you have these conflicts at the end of the round, and it's like, how hard do I want to go for that? Oh, I can't let Starla just get that free point, and for or that spice, like, there's so much awesomeness to it, and it just has to be at the top of my list. So yeah, that's Dune Imperium Uprising. We had no crossovers.
No crossover. We could have, though, because I looked at Dune and I do love it. But I said, no. These other ones I'm going to put on my list. But yeah, I love that game. It's a great one.
Cool. Yeah, that was awesome. And I'm so glad that you were like, hey, I like worker placement games, because I did not realize it had been, that long since I did it. The original episode that I did of this podcast on worker placement games. It's been forever. And there are lots of great ones. I mean, we could talk exclusively about 2-player worker placement games, or like, like stuff like that. Like, there's solo worker placement games. Crazy. It's a huge world. Then also the dice worker placement games, like you were talking about. There's like, there's so much. It's a fantastic mechanism, and yeah, great choice. Great pick.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
I will report back when I get Lords of Waterdeep and pimp it out.
Yeah, you have to. You have to get the custom meeples. You have to do that.
Cool. All right. Well, Starla, it is time for my random question segment. So I will roll my BGG colored D20s and look at my little random question grid. Oh, okay. This is actually good. This one's relevant to what some of the stuff we talked about. But which board game has your favorite player pieces, components? Like, you love the way they look and or feel or whatever.
Okay, this one could have made my list as well, but it didn't. And I'm going to go with Quadropolis.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you why. These little translucent, meeples, they're blue, and then they've got the little red energy things. And the first time I saw Quadropolis, again, this was a while back, again, new into the hobby, every
Mhm.
meeple I'd ever seen before that was wooden. And when I
Yeah.
saw the little clear ones, the little acrylic ones, I'm like, "Oh my god, I actually wanted the game just because I saw the blue meeples." But I
Yeah.
actually like the game. It's a fun game. It is a worker placement game as well. You're putting them on the little grid thing, but, um, it has a worker placement mechanic, but I love the way they look. And I know they're
Yeah.
just little
Cool.
meeples, but they're just so different from other games, but I think that's one of my favorites.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, I'm always kind of curious because we do play a lot of games, and then every once in a while you'll notice stuff like you mentioned, like, oh,
Mhm.
these people had custom shaped wooden meeples, or they had like
Mhm.
screen printed, or they're huge, or whatever. So it's fun to kind of like
Mhm.
think about what your favorite one is. Cool. Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, Starla, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I mean, again, this is something, I'm sorry it took so long to like make this happen, but I'm really grateful to have you in the gaming community, to be a friend, and I love
Oh.
what you and Mick and Grant do, and yeah, so it's good to just have you on this for once. And I'll have
Well,
Mick on
thank
here
you.
too.
Oh, that's gonna be a wild ride. That's gonna be wild. I can't wait for you to have him on. He talks a lot more than I do, so I can't wait for that. But thank you so much for, having me and inviting me, on the show. It has been wonderful, talking about something that I love. I love worker placement games, so that's easy to do. So thanks again. We really appreciate it, and we've gotta play something together again. I mean, we played a
Yes.
game, at BGG, what was it, last year? So next time we're together, we
It
gotta
was
play something.
last year.
I
Yes,
know.
yes. And it's either Tower Up, it could be Whistle Mountain, whatever. We'll figure it out. Or that Apple game. We will play something together at BGG Con.
Okay, let's do that.
Awesome. You've been listening to the Board Game Geek podcast, produced and edited by Candace Harris. Special thanks to Matt Fonda for editing and mixing our music. Be sure to visit us on the web at BoardGameGeek.com. You can also find us on YouTube, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch under Board Game Geek. You can reach us by email at podcast@boardgamegeek.com. Thanks for listening and happy gaming. Lovely.